We will spend the entire class on training on ArcMap. Just a kind of a prerequisite. If you want to start your ArcMap, make sure that you have your VPN client, like I do here, Global Protect. Make sure it's turned on. You're connected. The reason why, because simply the software needs a license, and the license exists on state server, and you have to go get connected to the VPN. Once you are connected, then what you do is you go to your all programs, like so, and you can see we have programs, and pretty much like all of you, every CVT student will have this folder called ArcGIS. Okay, so when you open this folder ArcGIS, you can see here we have many more than one piece of software. Okay, just to give you some names, we have ArcMap, we have ArcScene, we have ArcCatalog, and we have ArcAdministrator. Really, not all of them they are software. Some of them, for example, like the Arc Administrator, this one is not a software. It's just a utility that controls the connection to the license. In our class, we will focus mainly 95% we focus on ArcMap. About 5% we have a little exercise on ArcScene, and I will show you the difference between ArcMap and ArcScene later on. For now, please go ahead and click on ArcMap. You can see it comes with a version like 10.6.1. Not necessarily you have the same number. Maybe you have an earlier version or later version. It doesn't matter. As far as what we teach you in this class, all of them, they are the same thing. So please go ahead and click on ArcMap. As the software is going to start, it's going to take like a minute or so. So I just want to tell you a little bit about the software. The software is developed by a company called Esri. You can see the name here on my screen, Esri. And Esri is the one of the pioneer companies in in GIS. So early on, they created probably the first platform for GIS. And it is not really a free software. You have to pay for the license. And just want you write something, probably if you have a pencil or pen or something, please take a note. If you like what you see on my class, and let's say you graduate now, you give back your state laptop, you have no access to all the state software. Can I learn more about GIS? Yes, you can. There are some free platform. I will give you the name right away, and those platforms are free of charge, developed by a community of developers who are very generous to create the software, and the name is called Q, so letter Q, and then GIS, so QGIS. Very, very powerful, free of charge software. As I said, if you like what you learn here in my class, you can simply learn more on QGIS. We are in the transition right now because you can see, so like I said, is trying to save some money and try to pick some free software that they have the same option or the same power of paid software. And probably in a year or two, we will phase out ArcGIS and we will turn it into QGIS. Until then, I have to teach you ArcGIS. Okay, now, as soon as you start the software, just like any other software, what it does, it simply shows you the recent files. A file that you have saved probably a week ago or yesterday, just in case if you want to open them. You know what? I'm going to start from scratch, so I will just cancel this window here. Okay, so the first thing, I have here an agenda. So, and this agenda is available on D2L. And I want all of you guys to download this agenda. And when you do the training one more time, please work from the agenda, because the agenda has all the items that I'm interested to teach you. And you can see here, all those, we have to go through them today. Probably I already gave you a kind of a quick introduction about ArcGIS and also about the prerequisites where you have to have like the VPN running. Let's talk about now about this item here, which is simply ArcMap interface. So here is the software, and the The software it looks like very similar to any other mapping software, where you get here on the top some menus where you can save your file or open file and print and stuff like that. And also you get here toolboxes where there is a toolbar, toolbars, where you have toolbar, and on the toolbar there are some icons which gives you access to the same command which you can access from the menu. So nothing super here, huh? Next is we in the middle here, we have our map area. So this is in the middle here, it's our map area. Same as AutoCAD, there is a place where you can see your spatial data and see all the roads and all the building and stuff like that. So this thing in the middle here called map area. And also if you wanna draw something, like draw like center lines or draw anything, you should be able to do it here in the middle. Okay. On the left side here, there is something called the table of content. Table of content on the left side, table of content. Table of content, I would say like tool space in Civil 3D, kind of like tool space in Civil 3D. And hopefully you understand the importance of the tool space in Civil 3D. Okay, we will look at table of content very shortly when we import some data. We'll see what happens on this side. Now let's go to the most important. The next one is the most important part of the interface. This thing here called the ARC catalog. ARC catalog on the right side. And this ARC catalog here, it is a separate software, so you can run ARC catalog on its own, or you can access it under ArcMap. For most of the users, what they do is they access ARC catalog under ArcMap. And you will see we will have one use of ARC catalog very shortly. Now, what I want to say here, and I get you kind of emotionally prepared, that as we go through the ArcMap, you will see the software behaves and operates in a completely different way than any other software you have seen it in your life. And I will show you what do I mean very shortly, okay? It doesn't mean that its software is difficult to deal with. It is not. However, it is just different, okay? Now, for example, when you work on one file in AutoCAD or WinWord or Excel, and you wanna open the file, okay, from your hard disk, how can you do that? You just go from menu, file, and then open. You can browse your computer. For example, it is located on your desktop, and until you find your file and you open it. In ArcMap, things don't work this way. What do I mean? It means right now, since this is your first time to open the software, it means that you cannot access any folder or any file. Now, I'll show you what to do to create or to be able to access some of the files. So the secret here is something called folder connections. And if you take a look at my ARC catalog, you can see here that's ARC catalog on the right side. One of the things we do in ARC catalog, which is very important, is we create a folder connection. And what does it mean? It means you're going to pick one location on your hard disk and connect the software to this location. And also what this means, it means you should be able to read data files from that location. Before this step, unfortunately, you cannot read, like, for example, AutoCAD or maybe WinWord or Excel. As I told you, it's not difficult, but it's different. So please watch me how easy to create a folder connection. So what you have to do is, you can see here right now, I have no folder connection at all. I clean all my folder connection before I teach you, so we start from the same point. Now, all you have to do is, you click on folder connections and you can take a right click. When you take a right click, you get this little dialog box where it says connected to a folder. So we're kind of ready, huh? Okay, let's go ahead and connect to a folder. Now you can see here is my computer, where you can see here is this PC, and here is my document and downloads and C drive. So, and also you can see I can access my H drive and O drive. So anything that I connect to, I am able to create a folder connection. You know what? I'm not going to connect myself to the H drive or the O drive. The data that was available on the D2L, I asked you last class to download some data. If you remember, it was GIS-1 and GIS-2. So I'm assuming that you guys downloaded the two folders from D2L and decompressed them somewhere on your computer. Okay, I'm guessing, huh? So I have the data already, so I'm gonna go and to my C drive, and then I go down to SATE. For you guys, this will be different. This is where the GIS data I stored this place. But for you, it could be completely different. Please navigate yourself to where you have saved your data. For myself, I saved them there under SATE, under Survey 325, and under Fall 2020. And then here we go. So here is our folders. We have GIS-1 and GIS-2. So if I click on GIS-1, what happens is it will simply expand and show you all the subfolders under GIS-1. And now how many subfolders you see? Looks like you see 3 subfolders under GIS-1. 3. One is called data to join. The other one is called GeoBase data to merge. Then the last one is called GeoGratis data. So I want everyone to pay attention to the next part. Huh? Now I can hit OK right now, and you can see that the folder that I selected is GIS-1. So if I click OK right now, what happened is I will make a folder connection to this folder, and therefore I'm able to read all the folders and subfolders below the GIS-1. For example, I should be able to read all the data to join and GeoBase to merge and so on. Here is the tricky part. What if I click here on data to join? Okay, what if I click here on data to join? Hit OK. Now, what's going to happen? If I do so, I'm going to see all the subfolders and files in that folder. Unfortunately, I cannot see any same level folder. Like I cannot see GeoGratis data or maybe GeoBase. So what happens since I have training data on every one of these folders? What is the wise decision? I think I should pick GIS-1 because if I choose the higher level GIS-1, I should be able to read every subfolder. But if I chose data to join, it means next time when I do some training on another folder, I have to go back and create another folder connection. Are you guys following me? Do you know the structure, how it works? If you choose a higher level folder, you should be able to see the folder and everything below. But if you choose a lower folder, you cannot see the upper folders, okay? Now I'm gonna go ahead and click, excuse me?
I have a quick question. I clicked X on catalog. How do I bring back up catalog?
Okay, that's a good question. Can you please wait for a second? As soon as I create my folder connection, I'll show you how to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so you can see here, I click on GIS-1, I hit OK, and please, everyone, before I hit OK, I want you to look at what is going to happen here. There is something is going to happen here in a second. Watch this. Hit OK. And you can see right now, I have created my first folder connection. Remember, you can create as many as you wish. You can come back here and I can say right click and say connected to another folder. So I can create as many folder connections as I wish. Okay, let's look at Ryan request. So Ryan, which I bet some of you will have the same problem. So please, all of you, that's not only for Ryan, that's for every one of you. You can see here whether the table of content or the catalog, that you can close them. For example, watch this. So what if by mistake I click on close and right now I don't have the catalog. The catalog is gone. And let's click on all of them. So click close and click close. So here we go. I have no table of contents, no catalog, nothing. How can I bring them back? Watch this. So in the middle here, in the middle, there are 5 different icons. 5 different icons starting from the left. And if you leave your mouse for a second, it says table of content. If you click on table of content, what it does, it brings up your table of content one more time. If you go to the next one, it's called catalog. So if I click on catalog, it brings up my catalog. And then finally, if I click on search, it will bring up my search. And you can see I can switch between catalog and search from the bottom tabs. Great question. And again, I bet you that not only Ryan, some of you will face the same problem at some point when you use the software. Now watch this. So now I have a folder connection and looks like there is a plus sign. So I bet you that you can guess. We can click on this plus sign, expanding my folder. Let's do it. So the software I don't know, it's kind of a little bit slow. So it will take a few seconds until the software is able to open the subfolders. And here we go. Here we go. I can see right now, I can see my 3 subfolders. Okay. I can see data to join, GeoBase data to merge, and then finally GeoGratis data. And then also what you can do is you can see every one of these folders has a plus sign. It means you can expand. Let's go ahead and expand GeoGratis data. Okay, now looks like.
Sorry, it doesn't let me just to choose GIS1. So when I open that, it asks me to select one another file. So how can I just select GIS1?
You're selecting a folder, not a file, huh? So you click on the folder name and then you hit OK.
So it asked me to open another file in subfolders.
To be honest, it's very hard for me to help you right now because I cannot see your screen. However, I encourage you to keep watching, and then you can just meet me straight after the class where I can fix your problem when you show me your screen.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so you can see here under GeoGratis, looks like we have 2 subfolders and 2 files. And look at the name of the folders. There is something called Canvic, and then number, and then finally end with SHB. So if I expand the SHB, finally I can see. Now watch this, please. So you can see all of those are folders. However, these ones are not folders. These ones are GIS files. GIS files. And what happened here is that GIS files, we have some types, and I will give you a more discussion on that very shortly. But I want everyone to kind of read what is the extension of the file. I need some help, please. Anybody to tell me what is the extension of these files?
SHP.
SHP. So SHP is a shapefile. And it's not new. You've used computer for so many years. You know that when you use AutoCAD, AutoCAD generates a .dwg file, or WinWord creates .docx file, and so on and so forth. So every software, it has some files which they are associated with these files. So the first thing I want to teach you is that in ARCGIS, our main file format is shape files. And so this means .shp. Those shape files are amazing. They are very interesting. I will show you right now. They are unlike any other files that you dealt with in so many sense or aspects. So I'm going to show you right now. One thing, please look at this. You can see every shape file has 3 things. Has extension, so all of them, they are .shp. In the middle, there is a name, like for example, PS underscore 20 and so on. And then finally, to the left, there is a little icon. I want you guys to observe for me. All of them, they are shape files. all of them are shape files. However, the icon that is before the name, is it the same for all of them or different?
Different.
Different. And I know some of you probably will wonder why it's different. So here is the secret. So if you guys remember back 2 months ago when I teach you how to draw a map on AutoCAD, what happened is you draw everything together in the same file. You draw points and you draw also lines and polygons. So everything comes to the same digital file. So you end up with only one AutoCAD file. In GIS, things works differently. And what does it mean? It means points will be stored in one file, lines will be stored in different files, and polygons will be saved in a different file. And by the way, this discussion is not new. If you remember back when I teach you about AutoCAD and Civil 3D, I said in surveying, the features can be one of three types. Either it's a point feature, like a tree, which means the tree is not connected to anything else, or it could be a road edge, or maybe a channel where you have to connect the survey points back to create the features on site. Or finally, it could be something closed like a polygon or maybe a lake. Okay, so same thing here. We store them in a different file. So you will see one shape file that stores points and points only, lines and lines only, and polygons only. We do not mix and match. Now let me test you. Can anybody guess for me? Anybody can guess the second last shape file, that the one that I'm currently selecting right now, which is in blue. Can anybody guess what kind of feature in that shape file?
Points.
Points. Look at the symbol. The symbol has 3 dots. So this symbol, let's prove it. So in order for me to prove it, I'm going to show you how to import shape files into ArcGIS. Watch this. It's very simple. It's as simple as drag and drop operation. So what I will do is I select my file, watch my cursor, I will drag it and drop it here into your map area. Watch this. So I'm going to leave it right now. Once you leave it, see what happens. You can see I got here my points. So all of these are simply points. Remember, we talked about table of content, and one thing I want to mention right now is that as I bring in one shape file, it shows on my map area and also shows here as a layer on my table of content. You can see that, very clear. Now let's bring in one more point file. So I'll go to the last one. I'll bring it in. Okay, so this one here has few, like I think 3 points only. Okay. Now, who can guess for me what is the type of this shape file? Does it have points or lines or polygons? Look at the symbol,
Lines.
and the symbol should tell you. Any guess?
Lines.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, lines. Watch me. I will grab it, drag it, and drop it in, and you can see what are those lines? Those are row center lines. And I will keep doing this for all other line shape files. So here's number 2. Here is number 3. And here is number 4. And here is number 5. And here is number 6. Okay? Now, obviously, the last one is, so we looked at point file, a point shape file, and we looked at line shape file. And then finally, right now, we will look at polygon shape file. Watch this, please. I'm going to take this one, and you guys can guess. Look at the symbol on my screen. It looks like polygons, and I just have to click on it, drag it, and drop it into my map area. Please see what happens. You can see I got here a polygon that is colored with maybe light, I don't know what's this color, but let's say light blue or maybe cyan. I'll keep going. I'll take the next one. So here is another area, and then number 3, number 4, and then finally number 5. Okay, So you can see here, I brought in all my shape files. I know some of you will ask a question, oh, Tahir, in order for us to bring in 10 shape files, I have to select them individually, like one by one, drag and drop, drag and drop. Using this method, yes, you have to do it individually, like shapefile by shapefile. Using other methods, which I'll discuss next class, okay, you can multi-select. You can select 10 or 20 shapefiles. You can bring them in the same moment. So now what you learned so far is that it's creating folder connection. So that's one thing that you learn. You also learn about shapefiles, and shapefiles can be one of three types, can contain points or lines or polygons. Also, you can see here when I bring my shapefile, it shows here as a layer on my table of content. Now let me show you more interesting stuff about shapefiles. To prove my point, I'll just minimize my ArcGIS. So I'll put it on the side here, and I will try to open the same location, same location using my Windows Explorer. Okay, you can see here, if you guys remember, the data was available under SATE, Survey 325, Fall 2020, and then GIS-1. And you can see there are three subfolders. I go under GeoGratis data, and then I go to DiscanVic 15, whatever, SHB, I open it. Now, watch this interesting thing, okay? So right now, I'm showing you a couple of things. I'm showing you the same folder using ArcGIS and the same folder using my Windows Explorer. Normally, you should see the same thing, huh? For example, if I have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, normally you should see here 13 different files. I'm asking you, do we have 13 or we have more than 13? Typically, if you open your Windows Explorer, on the bottom right side, it gives you the number, huh? Can anybody read for me how many files in this folder?
78.
78. Okay. Now, some of you are asking why? Why there is in Windows Explorer has 78 files while I'm assuming that I'm looking at the same folder using my ARC catalog. Here is the secret, huh? So one of the big differences between your ArcGIS and AutoCAD, for example, AutoCAD creates a single file. When you work in AutoCAD for 1-2 hours and then you save your file, it gives you one file. And the file has everything you can think of. It has all the entities, it has all the attributes in one file. However, in ArcGIS, simply it doesn't work this way. Let me show you. I'm going to sort here all my files based on name. You know that in Excel, or sorry, in Windows Explorer, you can sort them based on the date modified or the type or even the name. So please observe the following. I'm going to select a few files and tell me what is common between these files, please, okay? And please just ignore the one in the middle, because this one in the middle here, it's a zero file, okay? So just ignore this one. I'm asking you, what is common between all these files? Do they share the same name?
Yes.
So they have the same name, but you guys know that you cannot store files of the same name under the same folder. You guys agree? You cannot store the same file name in the same folder. So the reason here is that all of those, they have the same name, but they have different extension. Do you see that? Do you see the extension? For example, on the top, there is a file .cpg, and then followed by .dbf, and then .brj, and then .shp, and then finally .shx. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so really, what's the secret here? The secret here is that when you create a shapefile, it doesn't store all the information in one container. It simply stores only related information in one file. I'll give you more details. You guys remember, you remember when we talked about GIS last class, we said GIS basically, we start with a base map that has some special entity, like for example, row center line, and we attach to them some attributes. For example, design speed, carbon monoxide emission. Anybody remember this discussion? That in GIS, we combine two different types of data, which is something called spatial data, something that has to do with the location and the geometry, in addition to non-spatial data, which is called attributes. Anybody remember this discussion from last class?
Yes.
Okay, so the question is, are we saving all those? Remember, so far, we have two different kind of data. Are we storing those data into the same digital file? No, the answer is no. For example, if you look at the shape file, which is the main guy, this guy here is the big guy here. This one is a shape file, and this one stores only the geometry. It means it stores only the coordinates. Now, how about the attributes? For example, like average age or average income, or maybe carbon monoxide emission, or maybe wind speed. Where do we store these attributes? We store them in another file called .dbf, kind of database file format, okay? And what happened here is, because the shape file is the main guy, not only it has the geometry, but also it has a pointer. It has a pointer, it has reference to the associated files. So whenever I come here and I am calling a shape file, bring it in, what happened is it will call other associated file with it to come in as well. Hopefully you guys get this idea. So one more time, in ArcGIS, we do not store all the information within the same digital file. That is unlike AutoCAD. AutoCAD backs everything in the same digital file that you can store somewhere on your computer called .dwg. In ArcGIS, simply it splits your file into smaller files, and every small file, it contains a piece of information. Already said it, that shapefile, they contain geometry of points, or geometry of lines, or geometry of polygons, and also it contains a reference to all the associated files. How about the .dbf? It contains attributes. And I know some of you will say, okay, how about CPG? How about BRJ? Okay, watch this. If you are interested and you want to know what these files they contain, I provide you here on my agenda with a link. Once you click on this link here, it will take you to a Wikipedia page where it tells you all the GIS file formats. And you can see we already discussed one of them, so the shape file. So this one contains geometry, and then .dbf, it contains simply the attributes. Something that you will learn in my class, but not today, in the next class, there is something called projection and map and coordinate system. So this you will know way next class about projection. So the projection system of your map is stored in a different file. Now this will lead us to one interesting discussion, okay? And I need your help. Okay, now let's say you work in a capstone project, or maybe when you graduate, you work on ArcGIS and you are creating some shapefile. Then you want to send your co-worker, or maybe a classmate. You want to send your work to your classmate. That's not for the GIS project, by the way, huh? Okay? Don't share your work in your project here. That's individual effort. But let's say in your work, you want to share with your coworker, you want to share your shapefile. My question for you is, should I copy? So I go here and I say, right click and say copy, and then open my email, and then paste this shapefile into my email, send it to them. What do you think? What do you feel about it after this discussion?
I think all the files with the same name should be sent.
Exactly. That's the answer. Because if you decide to send only the shape files and your coworker will try to grab the shapefile. It will call all the associated files don't exist. Then it will come in, but it's missing a lot of valuable information. For example, if this shapefile has, for example, row center line, and my database, it contains design speed, which is this file here, design speed, road condition, or maybe carbon monoxide emission. I'm asking you, will my coworker have access to all those attributes? Unfortunately, no. Okay, no, because you send them only the shapefile. So going forward, please understand shapefile is a package. So you have to simply copy all these files, send it to your coworker so he or she can get access to all pieces of information. Okay? That's very interesting, huh? That is completely unlike other project, other software. Okay, now let's go back to our software here. I want to teach you, for example, for probably 5 or 10 minutes, and then we can take a break. Now let's talk about the table of content because it's kind of interesting, huh? So far, all we can see is a table of content looks like layer control in AutoCAD. So far, looks like it's like layer control. So every time I bring in a shape file, it places my shape file into my map area, and it adds here one layer. So one thing you can do with your table of content is you can turn on and turn off some of the layers. For example, you can see there is a checkbox here. If I go and uncheck all my boxes, what happens is I'm turning off the layers that I don't want to see at the moment. Okay, so it just turns off all the layers that you don't want to see at the moment. So that's one thing you can do with the table of content. Number two, you can always rename your files if you wish. So if you like to rename your files, as simple as you can simply come here, leave your cursor just like Windows Explorer, and you can change the name of your file here. Very simple, huh? So one click, and then it allows you to rename your shape file. More importantly is that you can always play with the symbology. And I don't know, like maybe symbology is kind of brand new name, but it's not really brand new idea for you. Did you guys remember point style and line type and then different hatch in AutoCAD? Point style, line type, and then different hatch. Do you remember those concepts from AutoCAD?
Yes.
Okay, so we can use table of content to change the symbology. And the word symbology is kind of generic word that applies for points and for lines and for also for area features. Watch this. For example, you can see the second layer or shapefile. It takes a diamond, and the diamond is green. Can I play with this green diamond here? Can I give it a different symbol? Watch this. So if I zoom in, you can see here all the road intersection, they have a green diamond. You can certainly do by just one click, only one click to the symbol itself, not the name, but the symbol itself. Once you click once on the symbol, what happens is it opens for you symbol selector. Symbol selector. ArcMap is really designed to do this very, very easy and way easier than Civil 3D. Way easier, okay? So you can see here, once you click on the symbol, it opens a big library of different shape of points where you can simply pick one of them. For example, I can choose, for example, something like star 2, okay? So once you click on star 2, it gives you more control here on the right side. Well, I can change the color, so I make it red. Also, I can play with the size. I can make it, let's say 30, and also I can play with the orientation, the angle, and let's make it maybe 15, okay? And then hit OK, and see what happens when I change the symbol. You can see the symbol already changed on my table of content, and if I zoom out, you can see what happened is it simply changes the symbology for all the points. Now, can we apply the same thing? Probably it's too big, huh? So I will just go back and simply shrink it one more time to 10. That's too big. I'll hit OK. Now, can we apply the same concept of symbology on lines? Yes, you can. For example, I can go to here to any of the line shapefile. I guess I'm gonna choose this one here. Probably I need to try an error, huh? Because I want to change the center line of the road, which is it's here. Okay, so if I click here on the line symbol, it opens again a symbol selector, but this time this is symbol for lines, not points. And you can see those in AutoCAD, we call them line type. We call them line type. For example, I can take this line type, and this is called for tunnel. I can make a proposed road. I can make it undefined road. You can see here, there is a library of different line types. Let's make it double, huh? Double plane. I can make my color, let's say blue or blue. I can make the width is, let's say 1, and then hit OK. And what happened is, you can see it changes the line type of the road. Again, please use symbology. We don't use the word here line type. Then finally, let's zoom out. Can we apply the same thing for area feature? And you can see here, we looks like we have some bark around the river, and we can simply come here and we can change the symbology of the bark. I'll go here, I will click once, I get another symbol selector. You scroll down, there are so many hatch, same as AutoCAD. I can select one of them like grassland, and I can change color if I wish, or maybe change the outline, let's say make it 2, and then hit OK, and see what happens. I have changed the symbology for one shape file. Okay, one thing which is I want to remind you is that there is one command when you click on every or any shape file, you take a right click. Okay, there are some commands here that we will visit sometime in our class, but really what I want to say right now, zoom to layer is a very, very handy command. Zoom to a layer. So sometimes, watch this. So sometimes I'm doing some work and I pan here to the right, and you can see I don't see my layer. What if I want to bring in very quickly, very quickly, I want to zoom to this layer. Watch this. So you want to go to the table of content, you right click, and then you say zoom to layer. And what it does, it quickly brings in your layer to your view. For example, I can go to my road layer, which is simply this one. I can say zoom to, and you can see I quickly zoom to the extent of my my drawing. Okay, so now it's 12:48, and we will take some break. Any question before we break? Any question before we break? Okay, so let's take a 10 minutes break. I will see you back here at 1 o'clock. Thank you.